Hi guys, welcome back to Fairies Tutorials. In today's episode, we'll be looking at part 2 of fats in the diet. Stay tuned. Section 2, Nutrition and Health. Content 4, Fats in the Diet, and in today's episode, we're looking at part 2. Now, let's take a look at the focus points. Now, in today's episode, we'll be looking at fatty acids, functions of fats in the diet, and also sources of fats. Now, first up, we'll be looking at fatty acids. Now, fatty acids are organic acid units that makes up fats. Remember when in part 1 where we were discussing the chemical structure of fats and we spoke of triglycerides? Triglycerides are made of what? 3 fatty acids and a glycerol. So we're now looking at fatty acids. Fatty acids are the organic acid units that makes up fat. Now let us look at what is good fats versus bad fats. Good? Now, good fats. Unsaturated fats are considered good fats and are encouraged as part of a healthy diet. So unsaturated fats are considered good fats and are encouraged as part of a healthy diet, right? Now, on the other hand, bad fats are saturated and trans fats, right? And they have been identified as potentially harmful to the heart. One way to recognize these fats is that most are solid at room temperature, such as butter, margarine, shortening, and beef or pork fat. Good? All right. Now let us look at the good versus the bad. Now, good fat supplies essential fatty acids, and in bracket we have EFAs. Good? Your body is incapable of producing the EFAs, and EFAs stands for essential fatty acids. And why are they essential? They're essential because what? They can't be made by our body, and therefore we need to get them from food sources, right? So EFAs or essential fatty acids are also known as linolenic acid and alpha linolenic acid. So it must be derived from food. Now, as it relates to bad fats, there is a well-established link between fat intake and heart disease and stroke risk. Good fats carries vitamins A, D, E, and K, known as the fat-soluble vitamins, into and around the body. Good fats also is necessary for maintaining healthy skin, and it plays a central role in promoting proper eyesight and brain development in babies and children. Now, as it relates to bad fats, diet rich in saturated fats and trans fats, which both are bad fats, raise blood cholesterol concentrations, contributing to clogged arteries that block the flow of oxygen-rich blood to the heart and the brain. Therefore, when these bad fats block the arteries, then if it blocks the arteries leading to the heart, then there's a heart attack. Or if it's blocked towards the brain, you know that there will be what can be a stroke. If it blocks the cerebral or coronary artery, we may end up with a stroke. For the cerebral, persons may end up having a stroke. Now let us look at the classifications of fatty acids. So we touched a bit on it earlier. There are two major categories. So we have saturated and also unsaturated. Now, do you remember which one is the good fat? Very good. The good fats are unsaturated fats and they are normally liquid at room temperature, while saturated fats are the bad fats and they are solid at room temperature. Now, there are two types of unsaturated fats. We have monounsaturated and also polyunsaturated. Examples of monounsaturated are what? Omega 9 is an example of monounsaturated. Let's go again. Let's clear that up. An example of monosaturated fats is omega 9. Good. An example of polyunsaturated fats are omega 6 and omega 3. Now, let us look at these classification with a little more details, right? Now, fatty acids can be classified by how many double bonds are present in the hydrocarbon trail. Fatty acids can be classified by how many double bonds are present in the hydrocarbon trail. Now, saturated fats only have single bonds, while unsaturated fats have what? Have one double bond, and polyunsaturated fatty acids have two or more double bonds. So we're looking at the classification of fatty acids. Fatty acids can be classified by how many double bonds that are present in the hydrocarbon trail. There are two types of fatty acids: saturated fatty acids and unsaturated. Now, saturated have only single bonds. As it relates to unsaturated, we have two categories. We have monounsaturated fatty acids and also polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, for the monosaturated fatty acids, they have one double bond. Mono mean one, right? So for the polyunsaturated fatty acids, they may have two or more double bonds. All right. Now, let us look at saturated fats. Diets high in saturated fats can increase the risk of heart disease, and these are bad fats, right? Examples of food items that may have bad fats are butter, cakes and pastries, chocolate bars, coconuts are all high in saturated fats, right? Now, other sources of saturated fats include untrimmed meat and higher fat dairy products such as cheese or cream. Now, on the other hand, we're looking at unsaturated fats, and the first one we're looking at is polyunsaturated fats, right? Some are essential because the body cannot make them. Omega-3 fats can help decrease the risk of heart disease. So we're talking about the good fats here. Now, omega-3 fats are found in fish, flaxseed, and omega-3 eggs. Other foods with PUFA, which are polyunsaturated fatty acids, are vegetable oils such as corn oil, soybean, or sunflower. Now, margarine is made from vegetable oils. We have walnuts, sunflower seeds, and also sesame seeds. All right. Now, let us look at the unsaturated fats as it relates to monounsaturated fats. Now, monounsaturated fats are considered good fats because they help reduce the risk of heart disease. Example, olive oil, canola oil, margarine made with canola oil, peanuts, nuts such as almond, cashew, hazelnuts, and also pecan. Now that we have looked at fatty acids and the different categories, let us now zoom our focus on the essential fatty acids. Now, essential fatty acids or EFAs are fatty acids that human and other animals must ingest because the body requires them for good health but cannot produce them. So remember, any nutrient that is essential is that our body needs them, but our body is unable to provide them. However, only 2 fatty acids are known to be essential for humans, and these are alpha linolenic acid, which is an omega-3 acid, and also linolenic acid, which is an omega-6 fatty acid. And when growing up, you may tell that your parents what normally give you these supplements in the form of capsule, right? Any witness of omega-3 and omega-6. Now, omega-9, even though it's a fatty acid, is not essential for humans, all right? Now, linolenic acid is very important for health, and let us look at these reasons. It is important for the growth of young children. It forms a part of the membranes in the brain and the eye. It regulates the making and use of cholesterol by the body. It protects against coronary heart disease. It prevents the drying and flaking of the skin. Now, let us look at some sources of omega-3 and omega-6. So as it relates to omega-3, we have flaxseed, salmon, sardine, cod liver oil, raw butter, shrimp, olive oil, and fatty cold water fish such as salmon, herring, or anchovy. On the other hand, as it relates to omega-6, sources are sunflower oil, corn oil, wheat germ oil, soybean, sunflower oil, sesame oil, apricot, avocado, margarine, sesame seed, canola oil, and also almond oil. All right. Now, guys, let us look at trans fatty acids. What are trans fatty acids? Now, trans fatty acids are manufactured fats created during a process called hydrogenation, right? Which is aimed at stabilizing polyunsaturated oils to prevent them from becoming rancid and to keep them solid at room temperature, right? An example of the polyunsaturated, we may even think of margarine. So margarine are from the vegetable source, and remember, vegetable source are normally liquid at room temperature, but you may wonder why is margarine solid or semi-solid, right? The reason for this is it has gone through the process of hydrogenation, right? And it helps, what this process does is to help the fat from becoming rancid, so prevent it from spoiling, so it keeps for a longer shelf life, and also to let the fat be solid or have a semi-solid texture at room temperature. And during the process of hydrogenation, then trans fatty acids are produced. Now, guys, let us look at hydrogenation. Now, the process used to give vegetable oils a semi-solid or solid texture, as we said before, right? Now, hydrogen is forced into vegetable oil, as such the name, hydrogenation. So hydrogen is forced into vegetable oil to change the shape of the molecules, right? The process creates trans fat, which are similar in shape to saturated fat. And because they are similar to shape to saturated fat, that is why trans fat is a bad fat, or we may say it is unhealthy, right? Now, trans fat raises LDL. And in our previous video, when we looked at part 1 we were looking at cholesterol. LDL is what? Is it the good or the bad cholesterol? Very good. LDL is the bad cholesterol, and therefore it is a risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, or we may say heart disease, right? Now, trans fats are found in foods such as shortening, hard stick, margarine. As why it is found in margarine is because margarine has gone through the process of hydrogenation, and remember, that is when trans fats are produced. So we speak of cookies, crackers, and snacks, foods made with partially hydrogenated oils. Now let us look at the term rancid. Rancid refers to foods which contains fat or oil that smells or tastes unpleasant as a result of being old or stale. Example, without preservative, fat goes rancid. Okay, now let us look at trans fatty acids. Let us look at some facts of fat. All right, so trans fatty acids are made from hydrogenation. This makes oils more firm. They act like saturated fats in the body. Most found in commercially prepared foods. Some examples include French fries, potato chips, donuts, cookies, crackers, cereals, shortening, muffins, pizza crusts, buns, and cakes. All right, now let us now look at the function of fats in the diet. Right, so fat helps brain development and function, as 60% of our brain is what? Is fat. It supports the absorption of the vitamins, the fat-soluble vitamins, which are what? Vitamins A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Also, certain types of fat help to keep the heart healthy, and we're talking about the good fats, right? And also the blood vessels. Fats also provides us with a source of energy, and it's a structural component of our cells. Now, let us look at additional examples. So we spoke of additional functions. So we spoke of supplies energy, carries a deck through the body, which is vitamins A, D, E, and K, just to review. It provides a reserve store of energy. It promotes healthy skin, promotes normal cell growth, acts like a cushion and heat regulator to protect your heart, liver, and other vital organs. And it also helps us to feel full for longer. So we may speak of satiety, right? And also it adds flavor to food. Now let us look at some sources. So we have two categories here as it relates to the sources, and we're looking at saturated fats and unsaturated fats. And you remember which one is the healthy fat? Good, unsaturated, very good. So saturated fats are mainly from animal sources such as butter, meat, milk and cream, cheese, eggs, and sweet. Now as it relates to unsaturated fats, they're from the plant and marine sources. They include sunflower oil, olive oil, nuts, seed, polyunsaturated margarine, fish oils, and also oily fish. Now we're looking at visible fats versus invisible fats. Now invisible fats, or as the name suggests, invisible, are foods that contain fat that are not easily seen, right? So they are fat that is not easily seen in foods. An example of these are milk, nuts, cheese. Good. We may also include coconut, avocado, ackee, right? Now, as it relates to visible fats, these are the fats that are easily seen. So we may speak of fatty meats. We may speak of the margarine itself as well, right? So invisible fats are those that are not easily seen in foods, and visible fats are those that are easily seen. As you can see in this piece of meat, we're seeing the marbling technique as the fat is dispersed throughout the meats, right? So we may speak of fatty meat, we may speak of streaky bacons, an example of those. Now guys, it is quiz time. Now, why is fat important? Next question. Fat is important because, can you tell me? Let's go through some importance. It is a nutrient, it is a source of energy, it adds taste and texture to foods, It helps us feel full longer, and it helps to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, all right? Give 3 examples of foods that contains hidden fats. And when we speak of hidden fats, we're speaking of invisible fats, right? So we may speak of snack foods, fried foods, cream soups, and dessert items. You're awesome. You've made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Most importantly, share with persons who you know will find this information useful. Thank you for making it Fair's Tutorial.